Have you joined us on Facebook Live, and we're now on, and we're now active on Facebook Live, and as we're looking at the Miss Deaf Pride, looking at what Kudama Peture, the founder of Miss Deaf Pride, is doing her work together with Tisha Goto. They are working together, and in this particular case in the studio, Tisha is interpreting for Kuda as we are reflecting around what they are doing behind the Miss Deaf Pride. And now, earlier on, we spoke about the coverage that the Miss Deaf Pride seems not to be getting as compared to other pageants like the popular ones, the Miss Zimbabwe ones, but particular concern was this one. But how have you dealt with the pageant in terms of self-confidence? How have you helped the ladies in terms of self-confidence from the past 2 years that you've been working with pageants?
For me, basically, what I've realized is with deaf people, like the deaf community, they just want to feel included, and they want you, like, you just need to be friendly when you speak to them, when you're just around them. Just don't sort of just leave them out, be like, I can't talk to them. No, they like it when you try to talk to them. So when the first time I went, I just went there to help my sister, my older sister. And then I realized that they didn't have people doing their makeup. The girls were hungry. Some of the girls didn't understand what's going on because they didn't have anyone backstage to tell them, okay, now we're going to do this, now we're going to do that. So I just came in and I just tried to help where I can. Like if I saw someone's looking a bit scared to go on stage, I'd go be like, no, actually, it's okay, it's fine, you've got this. So I feel like they just want, if they just want to feel like you care about them, like you're listening to them. Yes. So that's basically what I've been trying to do, because once you talk to them and you make them feel like you care about them, then they open up and they're comfortable and then they're more confident.
Earlier on, I wanted to find out from Kuda her experience with the media, particularly focusing on the work she's doing through ZBC, the changes she's seen in community or in the society since she started that particular project.
She's saying that she still has the same problems because not as much people watch ZBC these days. So she's saying that when they go out to events and they go places, then she does get people coming up to talk to her and stuff. But then when she really hasn't seen enough change. Yes, with regarding being deaf and being disabled, yes.
And then generally, how has been the response from the community from the work that she has begun doing, particularly with the Miss Deaf Pride pageant? Has society warmed up to appreciating that we are just but the same?
She's saying that not a lot of people have warmed up to the idea, but it's better than it was before. Yes, she's saying that now people sometimes try to get what she's going through, and they sometimes try to help, but it's not enough. To her, it's not enough because she's just saying she wants to feel included, because at the end of the day, we are all people. It's not about being able to speak or being able to see. We are all people, disabled or not.
Okay, and some of the major challenges, or perhaps, rather, some of the major achievements she has witnessed over her career, perhaps particularly focusing on the media and other projects that she's embarked on.
Sorry.
What are some of the major achievements that she is proud of, or that she can talk about, particularly focusing on her role in the media and otherwise looking at the pageant itself?
Last year she became Miss Deaf Africa.
Okay.
Yes,
wow,
she was
wonderful.
the second princess. And then she also got Miss Photogenic. So to her, that was really big, considering she had to do everything herself. She didn't have funding to go there.
Where was the event?
It was in Seychelles.
Okay.
Yes. So yeah, so that's basically one of the biggest achievements. And then she was training another girl, Natasha Spanda,
Okay.
who went this year, and she went and she got 5th place.
Wow.
Yes,
All right.
but yeah, Kuda saying she was really proud of Natasha as well, because it was really hard having to get funding, having to get them fly to Seychelles, have everything done in time, but they went and they did their best.
Maybe just to find out quickly, the partners, the people that made it possible for her to achieve what she's achieved, and the follow-up ladies who made it as well from the pageant itself.
So she got help from Zimbabwe, Zim Youth and Tourism.
Okay.
Yes, they helped a bit. And they helped secure funding from RBZ.
Okay.
But it wasn't enough, and the money was in bond notes, which made everything hard for them to go there. Yes. But yeah. And she has one other sponsor, which is Frida. Yes. And then follow up on the girls that went. Natasha right now she's not doing anything, but she wants to, next year she wants to go start school in SA. She wants to do culinary arts, because she was saying in Zimbabwe she would like to be a model, but the modeling industry isn't really open for her, so she's going to go pursue that. But she was saying next year she is going to go contest again in Seychelles for the Miss Deaf Africa pageant.
All right, and what does she want to see, particularly focusing on the Miss Deaf Pride? What does she want to see to grow it, to develop it?
So she says she would like for Miss Tourism and Miss Zimbabwe to work with her as well for pageants and things like that, because she's saying they're in the same portfolio sort of, so she wants them she would like to approach them, but it's hard that way. So she's saying she would just like to work with them. She'd like to feel included when they do their pageants. She wants to be a part of it as well.
All right.
In the organization.
I'd like to thank you very much, and perhaps the last words she might also have to our listener as we wrap up this one and move towards the event that Mr. Pete is just going to tell us about.
She was saying she would like to see more development in rural areas, because she's saying in rural areas deaf girls don't really get proper education, and the deaf ones don't really get to be taught sign language, so it's really hard for them to communicate. But she was saying she would like to see more of people going out there to help them.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. I'd like to thank you very much, Tisha and Kuda. Thank you for making time, and we do appreciate your presence in the studio and the project that you're involved in, and we so do wish that we'll be able to also give you enough coverage in relation to the areas that you're focusing on.
Thank you for having us.
All right, you're most welcome. And now, Mr. Piri, I think this experience we're just having here is just an indication of perhaps how much society should be able to accommodate, how much society should be able to reflect upon people that perhaps are not as capacitated as we are physically as well. So perhaps you might want to give us a brief about your organization as an umbrella organization for people with disabilities in Zimbabwe. What is your mandate, particularly focusing on the day that is coming on the 20th, the commemorations?
Okay, thank you very much. As a you rightly said when you began that I represent the Federation of Organizations of Disabled People in Zimbabwe. And basically what we are aiming to do as an organization is to strengthen and to unify representative voice of disabled people.
Okay.
So that they become visible in terms of in terms of the work that they are doing, and in terms of the service that they are offering to the public. And we are trying as much as possible to ensure that the visibility of our organizations grow, so that we try as much as possible to overcome some of the challenges that Miss Deaf Pride were facing in terms of recognition, even in terms of resource mobilization and things like that. And as Fort Peace, we are an umbrella body of basically about 14 DPOs currently, and we are planning to grow those organizations.
What have been the major achievements from how you have, since you've come together, what have been the major achievements that you can really relate upon?
One of the major achievements is to bring all different organizations on board so that we speak with one voice, so that we plan together and we execute whatever that we want to do as a team. Especially for this particular day that we are talking about, that will be on the 20th.
Focusing on inclusiveness and equality.
Yes. It's one of those issues that we want to put across, especially for the people to really understand and to be aware that people with disabilities, they need to be included, and they need equal opportunities, even if it's in terms of funding, like what you heard from Mr.
Yes.
They need that.
They've done well for the country, but it appears the media has been in the dark.
They are not visible, and people don't appreciate what they are doing. So we are trying as much as possible to ensure that we get that visibility that we need as a sector, as a disability sector, yes. And talking about the day, we, like you said, we are celebrating a CJ Hall in Highfields, and our guest of honor for the day, currently we just need to confirm, but we are going to have either Senator Coupe or Senator Timire, who also represent the sector in the Senate, in Parliament. We have been working very well with the Department of Social Services, Harare Province, to make sure that this day becomes a reality. And
how has been the relationship even after or before this event? How has been the relationship with the ministry relevant to the organizations that you run?
We work very well with the ministry. Like for myself, it's mostly easy because I'm a social worker.
Interesting. That's good.
By profession, and so it's very easy to relate with them. And the one major challenge that we have been having is in terms of funding. The ministry isn't that well funded, but they do the best that they can within the limited resources that they have, and also using the networks that they have with the corporate world. They are able to mobilize some of the resources that we need, so that we get this day off and running. So we have been having that very good working relationship with them.
That's interesting. And then perhaps want to find out the major gap or the major gaps that you still find are quite sticking in relation to achieve inclusiveness.
The major gaps, from our point of view, mainly they have to do with some of them are structural, some of them are in terms of policy. We, as a country, we are doing quite well in terms of moving towards inclusiveness. We have relevant acts, and we have even ratified some of the necessary conventions to ensure that we move forward. But the major challenge that we are facing is in terms of one, like I said, funding. In terms of the organizations that we have, we have the National Disability Board on that's in operation. It needs to be well funded so that
So funding is quite sticky.
funding is a major issue. It's one of the major issues, and also alignment of some of the policies and the laws so that we get what we deserve. For example, I can give you an example. Our constitution actually recognizes sign language as one of the
Officially recognized languages, yes.
that we have in the country. But if you go in the education sector, there's nothing in terms of educating the teachers to learn sign language. So we still have those hurdles that we need to tackle. And but I do hope that as we move forward and as the government is opening up in terms of disability issues, we are very confident that it's only a matter of time. We will achieve some of the milestones that we aim to achieve.
I'd like to thank you very much, Mr. Piri, the Programs Officer with the Federation of Organizations of Disabled People in Zimbabwe. Thank you for joining us on the show, and we certainly wish you well in the upcoming event that will be held on the 20th of December at CJ Hall in Highlands from 8:30 a.m. Thank you for making time as well.
Thank you for inviting us.
I also want to thank Kuda Peter in advance, as well as Tisha Goto, for joining us as